Hey guys, what's up? So, yeah, once again, been a while. But I have been working, not just in real life. I've been swamped with a lot of stuff, and a lot of crazy things have been happening in my real life as well that has kind of thrown things in transition. Mm. But I've also been working on some videos, and in fact, there was a video that I thought I was going to be putting up before this one, but I kind of feel compelled to do this one first because of what happened. Now, I basically got some special little goodies in the mail, courtesy of LK Chen, who I once again feel compelled to thank for sending me their swords when they do. It has been a long time since I've received one, but to be fair, it's also been a very long time since I've reviewed the ones that I'm supposed to have reviewed a while ago, though that's still in the works, like footage and all that is already done. I just got to edit some more stuff, and there's something I'm waiting on to finish doing it. So yeah, and also it's not like I'm entitled to get these things, but I really do appreciate it when they do show up. And I received two things that I really wanted to talk about right now and give you guys some first impressions of them, I should say. In the meantime, like right after this, there's another video that I want to do that's also kind of sword related. And then there's like another one I want to do on after that. There's stuff that I really need to hurry up and get out, but I wanted to get this one done first. And yes, I am drinking ginger beer right now. Bundaberg's, the best there is, despite the fact that it is a little after 9 in the morning. And I can do that because I'm a mother effing adult. And also because I happen to live life in reverse from other people. I work nights and go to sleep during the day. So this is technically my nighttime. So I can have one of these. Damn it. Anyway, so I actually recorded a video where I unboxed the swords that I'm about to talk about right now. The problem is the video got cut off. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just for my Patreon people, because they've been so patient, I will put that raw footage up for them to see and point and laugh at. But I will kind of redo my first impressions here, especially since I had a little bit more time to kind of fiddle with them a little bit, kind of work certain things out. So, two swords got sent to me, and one is this beauty right here, a modern reproduction of a Yanlingdo, or goose quill saber, and this, which they're calling I believe the Snow Peak, which is a reproduction of a Republican-era Jian, which is one that I've been eyeing for quite some time. And I'm really happy to have gotten my hands on today. So, let's talk about this one first. This particular piece right here, like, as soon as I saw it, like on the website and also on the promotional emails that I had received for it, like I instantly was intrigued because, for one thing, this happens to have the handguard shape that I happen to like. It's one of the ones that I happen to like the most out of all the different, Jian handguard types out there, the sort of Ace of Spades shape. This also happens to be a reproduction of the type of Jian that was being made during the Republican era of China, which in some ways was it was sort of a golden age of Chinese martial arts or kind of a renaissance, in the sense that that was the period where they started codifying a lot of things that a lot of Chinese martial arts take for granted today, such as the way the schools, how they lay out their training program, how they lay out, their, the way they do their forms, things like that. A lot of our modern day contemporary views of Chinese martial arts in terms of like the division between internal and external, the kind of larger focus on forms for both good and for ill. A lot of tropes came from that time period. And one other thing that I have to bring up is the fact that a lot of sword forms, a lot of Jian forms that we practice these days, a lot of them were codified during that time period. And they were practiced with swords like these. So I was really curious to see, what this one would be like. and it did not disappoint. This is based on an antique that they had. They able to get their hands on before they were able to make a copy of it. So let's talk about it and let's get into it so I can get into my first impressions. One thing that you'll notice right off the bat, besides the plain steel fittings, is the grip, which is a raised skin grip. So it gives you a whole lot of purchase on the blade. This is not exactly something that you're going to be slipping on, but it might be a little too rough for some. I'll get into that in a bit. The fittings are nice and thick. You get the same style, the same type of steel fittings on the scabbard. The scabbard itself, while it is wood underneath, and I think they call it white pine or like white wood, it's wrapped in a type of faux leather, which I think gives it it's an interesting, I almost kind of hesitate to say elegant appearance, but it definitely gives it an extra air of sophistication to give it this sort of like, faux leather style wrapping. They decided not to go with real leather, and they say, for preservation of the animals, as they're saying on their site, which could be true, that I'm also thinking that it probably cuts costs to have fake leather instead of real leather, but you're still kind of killing two birds with one stone, and that you're not offending people, who would want something like that, would balk at, leather type of wrappings on here. Let's get into the blade. And then, of course, we also have this nice cord here for, the whole wrapping around your wrist sort of thing. We'll get into the blade, and this here. When I first pulled it out the scabbard, I was just transfixed by it, because once again, as it's become part of the course with LK Chen pieces at this point, it just feels so good in the hand. Like, it's in terms of the balance, the weight, the feel. It is so beautifully balanced. So beautifully balanced. You can get that point exactly where you want it to go. But there's just enough blade presence, just enough mass in the blade that you can give it a pretty authoritative cut and still return right back to where you need to go. It just flows from one move to the next to the next. No problem. You can get this thing where you want it to go pretty easily. The blade itself is beautiful. This particular one anyway. Apparently they have two offerings for the blade. One is a monosteel blade that's a spring steel one. I forgot the exact type. I'll have it in the description. But that one's more of a utilitarian type blade, and I'm thinking that's going to be for people who want to do a whole lot of, heavy cutting, doing a whole lot of utilitarian cutting. Like if you're the type of person who's going to want to do a whole lot of cutting practice, that's the type of blade you probably want to go with. This one, however, is their folded steel option, and I could tell because I could see the pattern in there. Then past all the thick oil that they put in here, which I will wipe down. And it is, again, beautiful pattern as part of the course with them. Nice fuller in the blade as well, which was, again, kind of typical with certain Republican style Jian that you see at the time, because, again, they were kind of borrowing some of the ideas that they saw with European style blades. Nice length. I think it's about like 31.5 inches. Forget how. I'm trying to master my metric, damn it, but I'm sticking with, I'm filthy American, so yeah, I'm going with the royal system. But yeah, it's, the blade is nice and sharp. It's well forged, straight. The folded pattern is beautiful. And again, it's not to say that a folded blade can't do cutting targets. Yes, you can. But keep in mind that if you're somebody who wants such, folded steel blades tend to look pretty. People like the pattern. They want to see their blades look nice. And if you're doing a whole lot of heavy cutting with it, you're going to get scratches. You're going to get a few little blemishes here and there. So if you're the type of person who's worried about that sort of thing, then you probably want to go with the other option. But that is not to say that this can't do the job. And I'm quite certain it can. The one thing that definitely, as I'm going into first impressions, I need to bring this up, is the grip. This might be a bit too rough for some people. It is raised skin, it is real raised skin, and real raised skin can be kind of rough on the hand. Now, my hands, while they're not heavily calloused, I do have a little bit of callus in here on my palms and like around here. So this doesn't bother me that much, but I know this is gonna grate on some people, and it will kind of get to me at some point. So if you're somebody who's interested in this piece, you may want to wrap it. Just saying. If you're somebody who's, your hands are a bit sensitive, you're not used to holding something that rough, and it is kind of rough. I mean, granted, I can whip this about, and I'm kind of used to it, but I know other people, it might rip into their hand a bit. You might get a few abrasions, it may even draw blood. Now, granted, this isn't as rough as some others I've held, but your mileage may vary, and I'm thinking the average individual may not be used to something like this. But yeah, as far as first impressions goes and how it handles, how it feels, how it looks, oh man, this is a beautiful piece. And I may already be liking this a bit better than the Ming Jian that they offered before. I may be offending some people by saying it, but I'm just saying, it's a really nice sword. And it was fun doing some, dry runs with this in terms of just doing a couple of drills, a couple of basic forms. It just feels beautiful to whip around. Like, I'm talking like Flying Phoenix, beautiful. And you guys know how much I love that piece. So that's saying something about this sword. I can't wait to fully review this one, really, take it to town, do some proper cutting practice with it. But yeah, this one, as far as first impressions go, it impressed the hell out of me. This is a beautiful piece. It really is. So let's get on with the other one. And this one I find very interesting. And that's their Jian. Now this one's also based on a real antique piece. I believe it's based on one that the guy who runs Mandarin Mansion, Peter Decker, I believe his name is. If I got it wrong, again, I'll have it in the description. I believe he has the piece that they based this on, like the one that they drew inspiration from. I believe he had that piece, and then they patterned this after it. And wow, I'll admit I'm more of a Jian guy. I think you guys already know this, but that doesn't mean I don't like doll. I do like a well-made doll, and in fact, LK Chen makes some really good doll. Though most of the dolls that they've offered, for the most part, have been earlier straight-bladed versions. However, this one is one of their curved ones, and it is a nice piece, let me tell you. First, I got to talk about the fittings. I love the fittings on these. They're very well, nice thick iron pieces, well reproduced. These are very close, if not almost exactly identical to the originals in terms of how they look. They're sturdy. They're not, rattling or sliding or anything like that. Both on the blade, the doll itself, and on the scabbard. I really like the kind of cloudy pattern, on the collar there. It's really, really nice. Love, again, the tight knot work there on the wrapping. I've always really liked this style. I know other people, they tend to like the Japanese style and katana, which are pretty, they are beautiful, but I've really been partial to the way they look on Chinese swords. The way it's wrapped here, it's really, really freaking nice. And it feels good in the hand too. The wrapping is, the cord that they use is soft, but not too soft. You still get a good purchase on it. Your hands aren't going to slip. I also find the grip itself to be rather interesting. It's a boxy sort of rectangular grip. Now, those on Patreon who are going to see my raw footage of me opening up the box, I commented a bit on how, because it was kind of boxy, it may be a little uncomfortable to hold. I've gotten used to it now. It doesn't really feel uncomfortable to me anymore. In fact, it just feels like it just slots right in. I still say that I prefer them to be a little bit more oval, but that being said, holding it here, it feels fine. But I will warn anybody who's interested in this, do not choke up. The metal collar here will bite into your hand. And to be honest, with these swords, both Jian and Dao, you really shouldn't be choking up on it anyway. You want to keep your hands squarely where the grip is, like right here. Same thing with the Jian, by the way. You're going to want to grip it here, not here. And I used to make that same mistake myself, but really you're supposed to hold it here. I should probably do a video one day on the reasons why. But one reason, especially for this, is here, that metal bit there will bite into your hand. So hold it squarely in the middle, it'll be fine. Let's talk about the blade and the overall feel itself, because, oh man. Oh, and I forgot to say about the scabbard, this one also wrapped in faux leather. And it really just adds to the kind of sophisticated look for this. Consider that this is supposed to be just based on a standard soldier's side piece, you know, sidearm. Just the faux leather wrapping on there, as well as these beautiful fittings, just gives it an extra sophisticated look. I really like the overall look of this particular blade. But now let's talk about the Dao itself. When I pulled this thing out, I was struck with just how well balanced it is, which it should be for a piece that's based on a military sidearm. But I mean, I pulled this out and suddenly I understood why a lot of people who favor the Dao are so gung-ho about them. Like I've noticed that the people who prefer Dao over Jian, they are really like, they love their Dao. Like straight up, you're gonna pry my Dao out of my cold dead fingers. And holding this, I understand why. This is an awesome sword. This is one of those that really makes me want to master Dao basics, you know? Like this is just one of those pieces that, oh man, it just wants to move. This really wants to move. I've noticed that when it comes to like, you know, single-edged cutting weapons, there tend to be two types that when you hold it, it's like you want to hit something. Or at least just get it moving, you want it to flow. One is the one that just has that presence, that sort of heavy, but not too heavy, but that's still that kind of meaty, heavy kind of presence that makes you, you know, really like cut stuff up with it. The Song Dao that they offer is one of those, where you hold it and it's like, yeah, it really wants to chop. This one just wants to move. It's lively. It's, you know, just the right length. It's, you know, got great balance to it, great feel to it, feels good in the hand. It's just, man, I can see somebody who really likes practicing Dao forms, you know, they're really into their Dao. I can see them having a lot of fun with this, like this being one of their main ones or their only one that they practice with. Yeah, I can easily see it. Like, hell, there's a certain guy, a certain Bakmei practitioner who I feel would probably, if he isn't already, just going to town with this piece, like practicing all his Bakmei Dao forms with this. It's gorgeous. Folded steel as well. They do offer two versions. One is their typical folded steel one, and I'm saying typical as if it's like mundane. LK Chen's folded steel blades are always gorgeous and well made. But they offer another one that's actually a sanmei construction. You know, the three different types of steel and then, you know, folded in there with a straight-edged hamon on it. This is not that one. Like the Jian I have is a folded steel one. This one is their folded steel Dao, not their the sanmei construction. At least I'm pretty sure it isn't, because I'm not seeing the hamon on here. But it doesn't matter, because it's still a gorgeous blade either way. Get that nice double fuller on there to kind of, you know, help to keep it light. Also having a double fuller on the blade just looks really cool, at least I think. I also like the fact that it's curved, but not too curved, so you can still get some good thrusts in it. Like, this is a really good all-purpose utilitarian sidearm. This is a good piece. You can see why this became a standard sidearm. It's just a good all-around, good utilitarian weapon, you know? Just, whoa. This again, this one also really wants to move. Like the Snow Peak Jian, that one really likes, you could tell that one really likes to flow and move. It's the same with this. This one just feels so good, and it's so well made, so well made. But if you're somebody who's just simply into single-edged bladed weapons, you could do a whole lot worse than this. This is something that I can easily see somebody really enjoying as part of their collection. I can't wait to do test cutting with this. I actually, off camera, hacked into the boxes that these came in, and it just went, yeah. This thing took a hell of a bite out of that. So I can't wait to really put this thing through its paces when I'm doing my review. I'm going to be boning up a little bit more in some of my basics with the doll, so I can at least do it some justice when I'm showing off how well it flows and how easy it is to flow with it. As far as first impressions go, I'm highly impressed. This is a beautiful weapon. It's just gorgeous to look at. Everything from the forging of it, the shape of it, the weight, the balance, the folded steel patterns, double fuller, the fittings, nice and thick, solid. This is just another well-made piece. LK Chen once again knocked it out the park with this one. They've just been getting better with every piece that they've been offering, I feel. Every piece they've been offering has just been amazing. And with these two, they're just continuing to show, their attention to quality. It's funny. As the guy who, was the first person to actually start reviewing their stuff, I remember even way back then, I was saying, these guys are going places. Like just that LK5, which was the very first swords that they were offering. I'm like, these swords are great. They just need to bone up on their quality control, make sure that, work on the fittings, make sure they're not sliding all over the place. And if they can just control that, these guys are going to be a name to be reckoned with. And now years later, they're putting out pieces like this. And yeah, the quality control is there. And they've improved leaps and bounds. Like, granted, their claim to fame is straight up historical reproductions. They're not just simply okay, we're just making Chinese martial arts weapons and that's it. No, they're making reproductions, and as far as I can tell, they're doing a damn good job of it. And these pieces are just, oh man, they're very well made. I'm glad I have them. I can't wait to really put them through their paces, and I think it's just a testament to how far they've come. So there you go. Those are my first impressions. I need to hurry up with my review so I can get to reviewing these as well and putting the videos out for these, because, oh man, I can't wait to really start playing around with these. Anyway, hope this sort of makes up for the lack of videos recently, but I got stuff. I just got to finish this one that's pretty much already done. I got another one that I got to finish doing the editing for, and that review one I got to get done. I do have stuff. I just got to hurry up with them, and life would stop getting in the way, and I can hurry up and get that going. So, but until then, I hope that you were able to get some enjoyment out of this, or get something out of this. And yeah, catch you guys later.